Hello, this is Father Scott Liana from St. Thomas of Canterbury Episcopal Church in Greendale. One of the interesting questions that we might ask ourselves, both on our spiritual journey and just in life in general, is one that was posed by Robert Wicks in his book, Crossing the Desert. And the question is this: what do we carry and why do we carry it? What do we carry and why do we carry it? About 7 or 8 years ago, in my previous parish assignment, I was fortunate to lead a group of youth and another adult on a canoe trip in the Boundary Waters canoe area in northern Minnesota. And when you go on a canoe trip like this, you put your canoe and your gear into a lake, you paddle through that lake, you portage everything over land, paddle, portage, etc. So you make kind of a circular route. This is wilderness camping, no running water. It's pretty intense and it is absolutely beautiful. And so there was this group of teens and this other adult and I. We were a group of 9, which is the maximum number allowed at any one site in the Boundary Waters to try to lessen the ecological impact. And we would start every morning. I would offer kind of a morning reflection, an opportunity for us to think and reflect on something as we broke camp and prepared for another day of traveling and paddling and portaging. And so my question one morning was this one: what do you carry and why do you carry it? And to help us kind of get a feel for that, because I knew that this day was going to be a very arduous one. We were going to be doing a lot of paddling and a lot of portaging on this particular day. We had a lot of ground we needed to cover as part of our route. So I asked everybody to pick up a rock and carry it with them and let that rock symbolize what it is that you carry, and then think about, why do you carry it? And so I asked them, we kind of did some brainstorming about, what do you think are some things that maybe we carry in life that it might be good to think about why we carry it. Is it useful? Is it helpful? Do we need it? And so what might some of those things be that maybe we're carrying with us and maybe are being invited or called to let it go? And so as part of our brainstorming process, things came up like resentment or worry or fear, or maybe that tendency to judge ourselves or others harshly and unfairly. Somebody brought up the idea of an unhealthy relationship. Maybe we're being called to let go of a relationship that we've been carrying that is really no longer life-giving. Or an attitude. Certain choices that we've made. Sin. Why do we carry that with us? Prejudice, fear, and the conversation kind of went on with that recognition or realization that really there's a lot that we kind of carry through life. And that it might be good sometimes to stop and think about why. Why are we carrying this with us? And so we broke up our reflection time, and I told everybody to pick up a rock and then to break camp and prepare to move on. And so most of us selected a rock about like this, right? Something that we could put in our pocket and have with us throughout the day as we were paddling and portaging. One young person from the group picked up a rock like this. I'm serious. And she carried that rock with her all day long. We would do a portage, and she would set that rock in the canoe with her and start off paddling. She carried the rock along with the packs and the other things that she needed to carry when we portaged. We took a lunch break, and she sat down, sat the rock next to her, and had her lunch. During the course of the day, we stopped and took a swim break because it was just such a gorgeous day and we all jumped in the water. She made sure that the rock was waiting for her on the shore so that when we were done with our swimming and it was time to get back in the canoes, she picked it up again and continued the journey. I was very intrigued by the size of this rock and by her dedication to it. She took this very, very seriously. So at the end of the day, we all got together around the fire. We had set up camp, we had unpacked everything, we had had dinner, and it was just kind of a quiet and a reflectful time. And I just asked everybody to think about, what does this symbolize for you? This rock that you have been carrying today, or in one kid's case, what does this symbolize? And there was just kind of a time of thoughtful quiet. And we prayed together to God to help us to see what we are carrying through life, and then to ask ourselves, why are we carrying it? What is helpful about this? Or what might be involved in deciding it's not helpful to carry this anymore and to let it go? And so one by one, the young people and then us adults got up and walked to the edge of the lake, and in the silence of the night, all you could hear was a little bit of a rustle in the trees from a breeze that was blowing, the occasional call of a loon. Other than that, it was just quiet. And somebody would walk to the edge of the lake and they would throw their rock in, and you could just hear plooch. And this happened again and again and again. And then the last person to go was the young person who'd been carrying this all day. And she walked to the edge of the lake and hurled that thing with all her might. It sailed through the air. It made this huge kerplooch in the lake that actually was loud enough that there was even a little bit of an echo. And we all just sat there quietly. She came back and joined us around the fire, and I saw a tear or two kind of running down her face. We took that time together in quiet, and then I simply asked God to help us to know what we are carrying in life and what it might be a good idea to stop carrying. What is it that we're being called to let go of? Jesus calls us to be happy and to be free. He says in the Gospel of John, I came that they might have life and have it abundantly. So I want to invite you to give this a try. Maybe find a rock. I would suggest maybe go with something along these lines and carry it with you through the course of a day. And let it symbolize something that you are carrying right now in life that God might be calling you or inviting you to let go of. May God help us to let go of whatever we may be carrying that is not leading us closer to Him.